There we go. Recorder's running. Today's date is Monday, September 18th, 2023. I want to welcome everybody and say thank you to Ed for inviting me. Today, I want to devote to my perfect scan. I'm going to share it with everybody here. Not a problem. It's pretty simple, really. And I've been on a mission lately to eliminate some alert windows, and I've done a good job of it. And trading is about getting to where you want to get to. Okay, so say you have a mountain over here, and you're right here, but you want to be on this other side. There's all sorts of ways to get there. You can climb that mountain. You can go around it this way. You can go around it that way. But our goal is to get this side of the mountain. And I have discovered what's on this side of the mountain. Now, this is for me, okay? Not necessarily for Carla or Julie there, or Bob. This is for me. What's on the side of the mountain is a chart pattern that looks just like that right there. Every time. 100% of the time. And what it boils down to is I want to see, why is that so big? I want to see some bullishness, and I want to see resting. Now, that resting can be sideways. You know what? We could do this to see technology. Gotta love technology. There you go. That's the perfect chart. This is a chart that has rallied and it has pulled back. Okay. Now, let's open this back up. This is a perfect chart. This is a chart that has rallied and gone sideways. So all it is up and rest. And one simple scan does this. One simple scan. That is it. And I'm going to talk about what's on that scan, and then we can add some other things on there for fun today a little bit. So number one, I want a rising moving average, and the moving average I use, and I come back to it every single time. It's the 17 EMA, the Trendicator, trending for the past 10 days. I want minimum volume. Now, let me just stick with what I do here. I want minimum volume of the past 50 days, trading at least 250,000 shares. In what I think that does, it eliminates some of the riffraff. I want this scan right here, RTW fast trend. And what that is the 3 is greater than the 8, and the 8 is greater than the 17. It's just stacking 3 moving averages. I want a price relationship in here. And all this is I want price to be above the 17. There are those stocks that pop up every now and then where the fast trend is intact, but price has dipped below the 17. So I'm just eliminating those. This right here simply says I want to look at stocks that's lower than the highest high in the past 5 days. That's it. That right there is what I think is the perfect scan, the absolute perfect scan. Now, we can look at these charts till we're blue in the face. Some are going to look a little better than others. Some not as quite as good. But the bottom line, they're all doing the same thing on this hard right edge. They're going to be below the highest high in the past 5 days. And there could be some that's just now breaking out too. That's possible. The T-line is going to be above the dots, and the dots are going to be green. Okay? It's that simple. Now, there are things we can do to add to this, maybe to give you, for you anyway, might be a bit of a benefit. For instance, we can come in here and we can say, maybe you only want to see white candles, okay? So bullish candles, which that's actually already kind of done in here because I don't have the low checked. But you could come in here and say, I only want to see bullish candles. And you do that with that little thing right there. And that's going to show stocks that is doing just what we want them to look like on this hard right edge, but we want this current candle to be bullish. Look at MasterCard. The perfect scan every single time. It never fails. Maybe we want to add something else to it. This is one that I have this on some of my scans, and that's a little MACD action. Okay, MACD action. So I'm going to come over here, and this is a special scan that I had to ask Ed for, and it's here for everybody. And it is bullish MACD. Just it's not fancy. It just says it's a bullish MACD. That's all. It has no, this here has no interest whether we're over the zero line or below the zero line. It just says that it's a bullish MACD. That's it. That's all I want. I don't want fancy. I don't want above the zero line. I don't want below the zero line. I don't want within X% of the zero line. I just want a bullish MACD. That's all. That's all. Now, we've added two different scans here. I'm sorry, I didn't keep track of it, but I think we're at about 160, and we've dropped our signals down to about 61 here. Okay, so let me click this save. Let it calculate for a minute, and that's the perfect scan. Now you can add all sorts of other things in there if you choose to. You can absolutely do that, but you have to know what you want. And this is something, Ed does a webinar here every single Wednesday. I do a webinar here every single Monday. And one thing that we both get asked is, just give me the perfect scan. Here it is. There it is. So anybody that wants the perfect scan, you got it. What about bearish? It's the exact same thing, just opposite. I want a falling moving average. I want still volume, and there is a falling, a bearish road to wealth fast. I want price relationship to be below the trend indicator, and I want price to be above the lowest low. I want and we use black and white, so I want a black candle. And I would want a bearish MACD if you're going to use that MACD. Okay, it's real simple. And that right there is the perfect scan. And let's just take a look at some of those scans. Why? Now we're talking about the right-hand side here, okay? The right-hand side. So that is exactly what we're looking for. Now, as you look at this chart, you may not like it till it breaks out. There's nothing wrong with that. And by the way, you could have a scan that says, I want to see recent longer-term breakouts. Absolutely. Intel. What's wrong with that scan right there? I may buy Intel before our 40 minutes ends here. I'm going to write that down. I can't. Jeez, I hate that. Oh, well. Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. Intel. I'm going to write that down. So I might buy Intel. And here's why I might buy Intel. Overall, you can see that it's been trending up. Here we've rallied up and pulled back a nice little bullish Hiromi right now. I'm going to use a stop of the T-line. So I'll use my stop here. I'm going to drop it down just a fraction. So now I would be looking at a risk of approximately 2.5 to 3%. And there's some targets to the upside. Make sense? So this is what it might look like for those that need a little little chart that makes better sense, which this is my favorite chart, because this makes all the sense in the world to me. Target 1, target 2, target 3. Just like that. Does that make sense to everybody? Very simple scan. ET. What would you not like about ET? There's the perfect scan right there. Absolutely perfect. Okay, webinar's done. Really, now please ask questions, because really this is going to be my focus today. And I have just done this. So if you have questions about it, please, please, please ask. Otherwise, we could just sit and look at charts that pop up if that's what you want to do. Ego. Oh, that's 2-day chart. There you go. Ego. Look at that. Right there. Hey, Tyler, you came in late. Could you go back to the scan? Sure. Be happy to. Rising moving average. And that is going to be the 17 exponential. Let me go over this one more time, and then let me make a note what I want to talk about. Okay, so I've got the rising 17 EMA for 10 days. That's the way it comes up, by the way, stock. RTW, fast bull trend. I want price to be above the 17 EMA. There are times that this is set up this way, 3 above the 8 and 8 above the 17, and price can be below the 17 if it shoots down right away in one day. I want it to be above it, or I'm not interested. I want to see stocks below the highest high in the past 5 days. I want to see a white candle. I'm not going to talk about MACD now. This I just added. This is not necessarily part of the perfect scan. All this is part of the perfect scan. Okay? Now, let's talk about this. Can you adjust the 17? I don't want to change you. If you're a 20 simple period moving average user, why not? I don't want to make you think that the 17 is something magical or something simple. Let's just change it. I want a rising 20 period moving average for the past 10 days. Is 10 days important? Not necessarily. No. It's important to me, but this is me. See the name of this scan? Perfect scan for me. Might not be the perfect scan for Tyler or Carla or Julie. Perfect scan for me. So you might want to make some adjustments here, but this is the basic outline of it. Now, volume. Okay, volume. What if you are okay with trading stocks that are only trading 100,000 shares? What if you're okay with that? Nothing's wrong with that. Now, I don't. And I will bring some scans down to 100 sometimes, especially if the market is not giving me too much. I will go open up the watch list a little bit. Yeah, I'll look at it, but not my favorite. My favorite is over 250,000 shares traded. Notice we went from 60 to 95 right here. Okay. This here, this is just simply, let's see, am I going to lose that? Maybe not. This is simply the 3 above the 8 above the 17. That's all it is. The 3 period moving average is up here. There's the 8 and there's the 17. All right, piece of cake. User defined price. Like I said, sometimes you will get price that sneaks below. If it's a big gap down for the day, it will happen. All I've done is eliminate those few. Not very many, but I've eliminated them by putting this up here. Now, below the highest high in the past 5 days, let's come back over here. So I'm looking for the 3 to be above the 8 to be above the 17. And I want price to be below the highest high in the past 5 days. So what I've done, and let's go find another another one. Let's go see, well, what is snow doing? Look, whoops. Let me close this for a minute. Let's see what snow's doing. There you go. Let's look at snow. So, I'm going to come back over here, open that up. There we go. Below the highest high in the past 5 days. So what I've done is I've created a trap between the highest high and the trend indicator. Mathematically, you have to have a rally. You cannot, now the rally could be a little bit piss poor, gotta admit, all right? But you can't be below the highest high without having an up move. Now that up move, like I say, might be a little weak, granted. It could be. But mathematically, it's impossible. So I've created a system here that simply looks for charts that are up, below the highest high in the past 5 days, and above the 17. That's a trap. We've trapped price in this area. Now, I'm going to wait for that entry. And that could be a different conversation maybe, but this is all about scanning for the perfect charts, okay? Make sense? Now, if you wanted to change this, could you change that? You could change it to 7. You could change it to 10 if you want. You could change it to 30 if you want. Well, that would be a lot. You could change it to 30 if you want. 30 doesn't work for me. I'm looking for little pullbacks, so I'm gonna stick with 5. Sometimes I use 7, but 7, 5. Sometimes I'll bounce back and forth. Mainly, I can't make my mind up. But 5 is usually the standard, okay? And voila, you have the perfect scan. Okay. Yeah, Ed just put a link out there, 14-day trial. It's free. You know, I've mentioned to Ed that it shouldn't be free, but he says no, free, because it's worth something. This is without this here, you know, we couldn't do too much. Couldn't do too much at all. Today, I bought MET, and it's because it was coming up on this scan. All right. And right now we're doing it's early stages. We're green. If we're doing green, I'm doing very well. I like green. But it's a chart, it's a scan like this that gave me MET. Right here. But anyway, yeah, click that link, take that trial. It's worth it. Now, let me share a little kumbaya moment with you, okay? If you don't ask for help, you won't stay with it. When the scanner first started out, it was quite simple. It has grown complicated. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody away. And the only thing complicated about it, really, is the fact is there is a wheelbarrow full of scans. Okay, so if I put, I don't know, say you want stochastics on this, okay? If I just start typing stochastics, STO is what STOC, look at all your choices. It has grown complicated because if, take Julie there. Say Julie says, hey, Ed, I would like a scan where stochastics does this, that, and the other thing. Well, Ed will build Julie a stochastics that does this, that, and the other thing. And this is true with the MACD or with the white candle. Below the high, well, there's only a couple of those. These are pretty simple. These aren't difficult. The stochastics, there's one, you know, there's cloud stuff. Maybe you want stocks that are where the price is above the cloud. You can do that, all right? And I have that, by the way. I have scans that takes the cloud in account, even though I don't look at the cloud. I might look for stocks that are over the cloud, things like that. Okay, so while it's complicated, it's like any piece of software. All right, any piece of let me give you a true story about a piece of software that's complicated, and you would think it shouldn't be complicated. Here, about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I had to get a new iPhone. All right, now over at AT&T, they changed everything over for me. It wasn't complicated. What I realized is my email didn't change over, so I don't get email on my phone because I can't figure out how to do it. Now, you would think that it shouldn't be hard. So I'm going to have to go over there and get some help to get my email on my phone because I need my email on the phone. But I've been very busy, haven't had time to do that. It's just like a piece of software. Now, if you bought a new iPhone, you wouldn't complain, you wouldn't gripe, you'd get it done. If you needed help, you'd go back to where you bought it, you would ask them to help you. So why not do that with this? So don't get wrapped up in it's too complicated. It is. I admit it is. And I'm sorry to say that. But it's only complicated if you make it complicated. What I've got here is not complicated. But I understand it. Now, how would you know to go look for rising average? You wouldn't. But I'm sharing with you what the perfect scan is. How would you know to go look for minimum recent volume? You wouldn't. Unless you showed up here on Mondays or you went to the Wednesday class that Ed does every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. He answers all these questions. You wouldn't know. Now, if you were in the Hit Run Candlesticks room and you asked me about this, I could help you with it. Absolutely. Okay. But don't try to tackle this on your own. That's the purpose of this scan, is people have downloaded it. They get a little frustrated because they don't know what to do. And what we always ask is, what is it you want? And then there becomes this tug of war. They don't know what, you sometimes don't know what you want. You just want the perfect scan. Well, here you go. Now, this is my perfect scan. This might not be 100% your perfect scan. You may like the concept. You may make some adjustments to make it your perfect scan. You might do that. But don't be bashful. So get that trial going. Get to business. All right. With that said, are there any questions here for me? Let's see. Oh, nothing for me. All right. So let's go look at some charts. We've already looked at DKNG. Look at APLS. Can somebody tell me why you would not want to trade LPS? Now, don't get wacko on me, okay? Don't get all, the Feds are talking Wednesday. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the chart. Don't go, well, the market's not bullish yet. Don't go there. That's not where we're going today. Where we're going today is this scan, perfect charts. Does anybody not like that chart for a swing trade for about 17% up to the 500 period moving average? It's a simple yes or no. Yes, you do. No, you don't. And if you don't, be prepared to explain. Okay? The perfect scan. You guys are seeing, I'm pulling these right off here. I'm not making them up. I don't have any saved anywhere, for that. Well, there's no good chart here, so I better pull one out of the archives to show you. This is live business right here. Let's look at MSOS. Now, MSOS is coming. I don't like the chart, okay? MSOS is coming up. It's doing exactly what we've asked for. I want the trend indicator trending. I want to be below the highest high in the past 5 days. It's doing exactly what I want. Why don't I like it? It's too parabolic for me. It's too parabolic, and this is, while it's not a perfect dark cloud cover, I want to compare things like, all right, should I trade MSOS or should I look at some of these other charts that look absolutely gorgeous? All right, so there's going to be a little bit of, you're going to have to know a little bit about charts. So while it's doing everything I think is perfect, it just backing up and looking at the chart, why would I want to trade that over maybe DKNG? You don't have any of that weird big action, parabolic stuff on it. Okay. CIEN, the perfect chart. All right. CGC, that's looking good. And that makes me want to go look at a chart that I'm in, Tilray. Whoa, Tilray, dude, what's wrong with you? I may be looking to add to Tilray down here. That's uncool, Tilray. But I am looking to add to it. All right. Any questions? Anything from anybody? Otherwise, this webinar is over in about 3 minutes because I've just shared the perfect setup. I'll drink some coffee, kill some time. Two minutes. And I really am. I'm gonna pack it in today because I have no more. We can talk till we're blue in the face. I can. But I can't talk any more about this without some input. Thanks, Julie. Appreciate it. I will say this, anybody that you're not going to like what I'm going to say, tell you the truth. You're not going to like it. Anybody that has a scanner and sets this scan up, anybody that downloads a scanner and sets this up, if you can't make money, it's your own fault. It's your lack of knowledge on charting, okay? The scan is not going to make your money. What's going to make your money is you having the ability to read a chart. This will give you charts that are in fact within your parameters that you've entered. So if you don't make money, then it comes down to you as the trader. And this is where maybe you need a little education on trading, a little bit of take a deep breath. Maybe it's not just jump in with both feet. Maybe learn a little bit. You know, the mechanics of trading is simply 1, 2, 3. It is the easiest thing in the world. The hardest part is what's between our ears. So here's the mechanics to the perfect trade. But now what's between our ears lies the problem. And if you can't overcome that, the perfect trade or the perfect scan for the perfect setup, it's not going to make you money. Okay, so like I say, maybe you've got to back up and have one of those come to Jesus meetings with yourself that says, okay, what am I missing between my ears? What am I missing between my ears? And that you have to figure out. We can help you in the trading rooms. We can help you with that. But that's what you have to figure out. Okay. Thanks, Carla. Yeah, give it a go. Really, it's the perfect scan. How do you add minimum volume? I think, Ed, did you just do that? I'll do it right here, maybe too. Just what I do is I go to the plus sign and I just type VOL. This is another reason why it's a little complicated. I know the key words. I've been using LTA since its conception. So I know some of the key words, but please, there's many times I call up Ed. Ed, I can't find this or that or the other thing. I know it's there. What are we calling it? I do that all the time. But I know that if I just type in VOL, it pulls up everything with volume. And then I've just done it enough that I know about where it is right here. Minimum recent volume. And it comes out of the box exactly what I like. Right there. For the past 50 days, has to have 250,000 shares traded each and every day. All right. Dumpling, is this a scanner question or are you looking for a trade here? And since this is a scanner class, you tell me if it's a buy and we'll talk about it. If you want to bring it up in the room, Hit Run Candlesticks room after 1 o'clock, we can talk about it. But is it a buy? That's up to you as a trader. That's not up to me to decide if it's a buy for you. Okay? What else we got here? Okay. Oh, Dell Pop. Well, there's that Intel. I'm seriously thinking about buying Intel, folks. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do with Intel. I see some upside on Intel. Now, it needs to get going, okay? It needs to break out right here. All right? I'm going to take the risk here. So I'm going to go buy that. Let me get it loaded up. INTC. So I'm already queued up for December, so I'm going to look at December's numbers. 70 Delta, plenty open interest. I'm going to go look at March's number. Whoa. I'm November. I said March. I meant November. I'm buying the November 35 strike. Order's just been put in. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some pretty tight rules on this thing today. By the end of the day, it's going to have to close above the 500 period moving average at 37.84. Okay? So that's my absolute rule. Below that, I'm not interested in it. So it's going to have to hold up here. Right there. Whoops, not that. Yeah, that's good enough. There we go. So I'm going to take that risk right here. On that breakout breakout of this candle might be a better buy. But here I am. I'm going to take a little early buy. And that's, I never would have come up with this. Maybe I shouldn't say never. But there it is right there coming up on the scanner on the perfect trade right there. Carol, you're right. My 500 is probably not visible to you because I have it so thin and so light, but it's right there. Okay, it's right there. I keep it thin and light. I'm not trying to hide it from anybody. I just don't want to be annoyed with too many lines on the screen. Okay, I just don't want to be annoyed with that. So I keep it in the background, very light. It doesn't bother me like that, but I can see that it's there. All right. Okay, let's see, did that fill? Yes, that filled. And by the way, that Met that we bought earlier today, I'm now up $180 on it. Thank you, scanner. Thank you very much, scanner. What else do we have? Any other stocks you guys want to look at? Or well, as long as it works, scanner. Let's keep it scanner questions. This is not a, it's not a stock webinar. Carla, thank you. The scanner can be, the scanner can make you give up. If you mess around, now I believe, Ed, I'm a little different, okay? I can have a lot of windows up. I do a lot of testing, a lot of trials, and working with different types of scans. But I believe everybody else can have 20 windows up. I believe that is the case. 20 windows. Honestly, if you have more than 3, you have too many. You just because, and this is human nature, okay? You give somebody an inch, they're going to take 2. Come on, we're human beings. It's the way it is. You give somebody 20 windows, by God, they're going to put 20 windows up there. I paid for the damn thing. I want my 20 windows. That is a massive mistake. Massive mistake. It will ruin the experience of the scanner because it will overload you. All you need is that scan right there. You need one short, so just do the opposite for short. That's all. That's all you got to do. You can add things on this scan like maybe you want stocks to be above the 50-period moving average. Okay, you can add that. Maybe for short, you want them below the 50-period moving average. I mentioned the cloud earlier. Maybe you want stocks to be above the cloud for long. Maybe you want stocks to be below the cloud for short. You can add that on here. And the same, none of this is going to change. Well, let's get rid of that right there. Whoops, there we go. None of that's going to change except that, everything will be backwards. So everything here will change to backwards except for minimum volume. That'll stay the same. For short. But if you want price below the cloud, you can add that. So if you're short below the cloud, long above the cloud, you only need 2 scans. That's it. If you try to go load your 20 scans because you get to have 20, you're gonna blow yourself up. And that's what happens most of the time. People that have quit the scanner is because it's overwhelming, because they can have 20 scans and they have 20 scans up. Okay. I can have 20 glasses of wine at night if I want to, but maybe that's not a bright idea. 1 or 2 glasses of wine, I think that's a great idea. But 20? Bad idea. I could probably even get away with 2 shots of tequila. Maybe. Well, I know from experience that I'm a fun drunk, so I would be a fun guy. But 20? I'll be dead. So why don't we just use 2 scans, perfect scans. There they are, right there. Ego. Perfect scan. Now, again, we were talking about the cloud, right? If you want price to be above the cloud, you set it up that price has to be above the cloud, and this won't show up. You can even set it up so a moving average is above the cloud or below the cloud. Okay. You got it. You got it, Malcolm. Well, so just because there's 20 scans you can have, don't do it. Don't do it. I like that Fudo. Look at that basing out there. That's nice. So I want to. The first thing I want to look at is target. Make sure I have some money. Move that down a little bit. So I've got 11 to 12%. That's enough money for me for the first swing target. After that, targets will be above there. That looks like a pretty good trade. Now, my risk, what? Maybe down to here. So here's my, I can't do that, can I? There's my risk, 2.5 to 3%. There's my reward, 11 to 12%. Brought to you by Live Trading Alerts in the Scanner. Now, we've already bought Intel. You guys were there for it. Come on, catch up. There we go. Intel, we're working out pretty good. Now, the scanner brought me Intel, but it was my experience that got me into Intel. And I even said, just in case this thing doesn't work out, I've got a very tight stop on it. My experience and willingness to maybe take a tiny bit of risk. Let's look at BX. Oops, BX. Look at BX. What's wrong with that? That's a nice chart. Look at that pop out of the box. The buy is inside the box and the buy is on the breakout. You as a trader have got to decide what you do. I cannot decide this for you. If I decide to buy this in here, it doesn't mean that's right for you. Okay. Carol, give me some logic on MET. We'll talk about it. In other words, do the chart. Do the chart. I mean, do your charting. Do your thing, and you tell me if it's too late, okay? And it's all about management. That's all it is. MET's a good chart. There's no question in my mind about that. All it is management at this point. And management starts with setting the trade up. CCG. CCG. Below the highest high in the past 5 days. Trending. How do you exit a window without selecting it? Without selecting it. I'm not sure what you mean by selecting it. You close this window by clicking that X, but don't go doing that right away, because when you click that X, it's gone. Okay, that window will be gone if I click that X. There's no bringing back. Now, that's not completely true, but that's going to cause Ed a little grief, going to cause you a little grief, so don't click the X unless you want it gone. So, Ray, by any chance, do you have the scanner and do you have 20 windows and you're about to do some deleting? If so, you're my man. All right. What else we got? Anything? I want to talk about Carol just a moment here. Sorry, Carol. I'm going to talk about you a little bit. So Carol typed in, is it too late to enter MET? I'm not going to lie, okay? If you've got to ask, the trade's not for you. If you have to ask. However, if you were to type into chat, there. If you were to type in the chat, I think Met is a good buy. I see some upside. It's pushed up a little bit, but I know as a trader, I can put my stop anywhere my little heart desires. I'm not going to get arrested. So you can put your stop wherever you want. So a trade is never too late. Not ever too late. You just have to manage the entry. Even charts that have rallied, and this hurts me to say it, even charts that have rallied like that, that's not too late to buy. Might be foolish, but it's not too late. If you think it's going to go higher, you can set your stop really tight to protect yourself. It's about management. Okay? So the scanner will give you the perfect setups. But it's up to you as a trader to become a trader. Sorry, some webinars are filled full of chocolates and candies and here, let me hug you and kumbaya moments. And some webinars are filled full of come to Jesus meetings. This is a come to Jesus meeting. The perfect scan, now become a trader. That's all you need. There is no reason why everybody can't make money. Take Dell. How would I trade Dell? If you have to ask, the trade is not for you. You have not learned enough yet about trading. Now, it's not difficult. If Dell was to fall below the current day's low, how would that make you feel? Pretty rotten, wouldn't it? Because there's a whole gap down there it could fill. So doesn't it make sense that that would be the stop? Now, if you think that's too tight, don't trade the stock. If Michael there trades Dell and you don't like it, don't beat up on Michael. That's his trade. Just like it's not your trade. If you want to wait till it moves up here, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to wait till it breaks out, it's not too late for that trade. It's just about management. But the scan here will give you the Dells. It'll give you the pass. Oh my. Oh my. I think I kind of like that one. See? Alrighty. If anyone has any last minute questions about this scan, let me know. Otherwise, it's about time to get out of here. So I hope this was helpful. I hope I didn't tick anybody off. But sometimes we just need to be brought back into the fold, and we need to see trading for what it is. It is super simple. Until we get to the mind part of it. And the scanner here makes it super simple. It really, really does. The mind part of it, though, the scanner can't help you with. It might give you an edge because you're looking at good charts. I mean, for the most part, you can dial this in a little bit more if you wanted. You know, if you wanted a bigger trend, you know, charts in a solid trend, which things that I would do is maybe stack moving averages. So maybe I want the 17 above the 20 simple, 20 simple above the 50 maybe. That's stacking moving averages. Or maybe I want the 50 rising. You can add all that in there. You know, if that's the kind of stuff that trips your trigger, okay. You put that in there. But here's what could happen. You put all these rules in there, and then what happens is that number right there, 89, turns into 3. And you know what then will happen? Is you're not going to see a trade. That's not enough in there. So what are you going to do? You're going to go build another scan that will do the same thing, but you're going to leave off stuff to make that number bigger. And now you're going to have 20 scans. Mistake, bingo. Get rid of those. Quit trying to nail this down to the size of a gnat with all these rules. You want this to be basic rules, and then the final rules is your ability to trade. Okay? Because if you're not careful, you can have so many little hoops that it has to jump through that you're only going to have 3, and that will cause a problem. So, leave it simple, basic. Now you decide if that's a trade. Is that the kind of trade you want to trade? Learn what consolidation is. Learn what a pop out of the box is. Learn what a breakout is. Learn what a high 17 trap is, or a 3-8 trap if you trade. And I could put a 3-8 trap on here if I wanted. Okay. Don't let the scanner drive you to actually pushing the button. The scanner drives you to the perfect scan and perfect chart setup. Now, you have to decide on the entry, the target, the stop. All right? All right, I'm going to take off. Michael, thanks. Going to look at it. And I have, yeah, Michael, honestly, what in the world are 20 scans going to do for you? All right, one last thing. For those that have the scanner, here, let me share something with you, and then I'm going to get out of here. So why would you have 20 scans? So you've got this scan right here, but I want an RBB scan. No, you don't. You have it right here. Oh, in an RBB, let's use this right there as, or let's use this yellow line as or, you know, what I could do is I suppose I could go find an RBB, I guess. Those might be a little hard. Well, this is one here. There's an RBB right here. Well, let's see here. The 3 is above the T line. I don't think I have the T line on this, do I? No, I don't. Let's go over here. There we go. The 3 is above the T line. That's what we have here. T line's above the 17. That's what we have here. Everything's there. It's below the highest high in the past 5 days. That's an entry mechanism. It's all right there. So you don't need this scan and an RBB scan. You don't need it. What you need to do is just look at this scan, and if you see it as an RBB, like right here, this scan right here would have showed this up back here. Visually, you're just looking for scans that are trapped between the 50 and the 200 for the RBB, but everything else is the same. So yeah, chop all those scanning windows. You don't need them. Don't overload yourself with craziness. That's all you need right here. All right. You guys take care. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If I can be of any other help, let me know. I really hope I didn't tick anybody off. Sometimes I can do that. But I do all this with love and passion. Okay? All right. Later. I'm going to be back over in the Hit and Run Candlesticks trading room in about 20 minutes, 18 minutes. And love to see you all there. Remember, we have that open house. So all 3 rooms are open to BYOB, Right Way Options, or Hit and Run Candlesticks. You guys take care. Thank you.